when we do like that, when you do a skeleton, and when you remove the head, you will have a spinal cord. And when you mentally open the spinal cord, and the whole thing drops off, or you should experience that it's completely dropped off. There's nothing there. Okay, that's the practice what we wanted to do. Now, let's say for some reason it's not working, meaning you never had this experience. So, that answer is there in MN 106. Okay, so we will be taking up that sutta, particular sutta, and we will go over that completely. So that will help us in looking at how do we get there. Okay, so this is called as this especially is aninjabi. So there are three kinds of sankharas. One is punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, and aninjabi sankhara. So what we are going to do now is get into aninjabi sankhara. With aninjabi sankhara, only you can get into the arupa jhanas, including the rupa jhanas, but majorly if your intention is to get into arupa jhanas without aninjabi, you cannot get it. So in the Anguttara Nikaya 4.123 and also Anguttara Nikaya 3.116, there are talks about the arupa jhanas and rupa jhana, all that, and how many, what's a lifespan, ayu in one of these, in all of these realms. We had gone through this, but as a practice, if you keep on doing it, you will see that you are increasing your lifespan, not the human lifespan per se, but the vijnana, consciousness lifespan. Before we get there into the aninjabi, one important thing you need to understand, or we all need to understand, which I had spoken to Bobby while I was there at his home, looking at his dog Maya. So I would like to go to that again, so that if there is confusion on this, we can sort it out. Number one, ayu. Okay, this is also there in MN 43, Mahavedala Sutta, or MN 44 rather, Mahavedala Sutta. So the major thing we need to understand, irrespective of the sutta, is there is ayu. Okay, from that has come Ayurveda, knowledge of life span. Okay, so when we speak ayu, it means lifespan. Just like I have iPhone 16 Pro, the battery has a lifespan, and the mobile itself has a lifespan apart from the battery. So what we are talking here is not the lifespan of the battery. We are talking about the lifespan of this hardware device itself. Let's say maximum is 10 years, and that's the lifespan of it. In that period, we can replace the battery, but the functioning is there. The mobile functions. It might be slightly slow because of aging, but it is working. What if the hardware itself is something cannot be done? That's the lifespan what we are talking. Okay, so the experiencer can only experience as long as the ayu is there. The second part is usma, which means heat, but actually it's not really warmth and heat. It's actually prana, which means life source or life air, or whatever we can say, oxygenated. Can put whatever names we would like to put it, but that's what it is, just like the battery. Okay, so now you have a battery and you have an overall hardware life. And then the software portion of it is what the Vijnana is. So it is dependent on both Ayu and Usma. Okay. As a human being, it can stay for 100. What can stay till 100? The software can live in that hardware with a battery charge for a max period of 100 years. If it wants to have a better life, a better experience, then it has to get out of this hardware. Which hardware? This hardware, what it has. Because the limitation of this hardware is 100 years. That's a max. And nothing can be done. You can't increase the hardware, meaning I can't put some drives, I can't put something and make it work. Not possible. That's a max. So basically, it goes through aging. Just like the mobile is aging and this body also aging. So the max time this will be in good usable condition is 10. Like the dog of Bobby can live 15 years. Now it is aged. So few years it'll start to lose its eyesight and hearing ability and whatever. Then it dies. And in fact, it is aging is what he says. He and Marine says, so let's take it. That means the hardware of that dog or the experience of a dog is max 12 to 15 years. That's it. So now if it wants a higher capacity, then it has to do something. And that something is uninjured. You got the point. So it's dependent on both hardware and software, and the software being the mind, hardware being what you have brought or what that has been brought. So it can only live as Vijnana or as Chitta or as conscious experience in that hardware for a max period of 100 years. And what happens next? Well, depending upon what that software has done, it will take another hardware slightly superior or rather inferior and live with it. And that's all can happen. So the smartness of this software is to understand that this hardware is incapable of doing what it should be doing. The sooner this software understands this hardware is a mess, it'll let go of the hardware. Or it should basically. And in 99.99% of the cases, the software is attached to the hardware. So it doesn't know how to unplug it. It doesn't know basically. So we are doing something about this hardware by spending our Saturdays and Sundays and other days in looking at how do we change the configuration so that the hardware gets disconnected out of the software. and then the software can get loaded on a better hardware. Okay, this process of changing hardware is uninja, unshaken. Any questions? Imperturbability. So today we are going to deal with this imperturbability so that you can change your hardware. So what you need to do, it's a 5 steps what Buddha talks about there. And we'll go through all the 5 steps. Is to first understand this hardware is incapable. Not putting virtual machines or not putting something. This hardware is incapable. Let's say it's only have dual core, doesn't have 4 core or 8 core or 16 core or whatever it is. Because there is no associated merit to get the new hardware. Maybe the budget is not there. Let's take that as an example. So the software itself now decides to get delinked from the hardware. And that's what we are going to do now. It's not about imagination, about a space or something like that. It's about removing something from the mind, which is the software, so that the space is created. Like I have a lot of apps which are unused. I can remove all those apps. On one of the app, it calls family. I delete it, not by force, but by changing the configuration of the family. So the family gets deleted. Like that, I keep on deleting each one of them, changing the configurations. So then those doesn't have data. It doesn't store. The moment it stops storing, the hardware is removed. Let's say you're moving it to cloud. So there's no need for this hardware. So slowly you can remove that entire hardware itself. And this software is now loaded on the cloud. So it's become a cloud offering. From a on-premise, we have moved it to the cloud. That's the nicest thing that can be done. So the question comes, how long it can stay? As long as the data center is there. And how long the data center can stay? It can stay for years together. That's amazing. So we're going to do that. That's why it's called Aninjavi. Okay. Any question? All fine? All good? So Nijja is to disturb, Anijja is undisturbed, unmoving, imperturbable, and Sapaya is supportive, conductive. So we are taking up this 106 Sutta, Aninja Sapaya Sutta, which means creating a condition which is good for non-moving. The mind doesn't move. Okay. So Aninja practice starts with 4th jhana, not before that. If you're on first, second, third jhana, it's like a children play. The minimum requirement is like some computer having 8 core. That's the minimum. Okay? If you say that I don't have budget for that, maybe you should develop. They have only single core. Sorry, sir, we don't take you. So those people who have never attempted jhana are single core machines who don't know what it is. So they have to develop. Those who have done first and second jhana are in the kindergarten. It's fine. Okay. So they have dual core. Something can be done. Those who have attempted and attained till the third jhana, they are like a 4 core. And what we are talking now is 8 core hardware. And that's it. You don't have to make a 16 core and 32 and 64 and like that. No, 8 core is good enough. Move the software out, throw the hardware. Okay. So that's exactly what we are going to attempt to do. So let's now get into the how to do it. Is that first is we have to take the karma and the karma sanya, okay, and look it for what it is. So during your day and before sleeping, the entire timeline, you have to find fault in karma and karma guna. That's a job. It's like somebody constantly complaining about hardware. This hardware is painful, I'm not getting it, and this and that. And the IT manager is bugged up every day. He's sending emails and having meetings and crying, and his boss is tired and things are not working and like that. And every day it's a mess. So much of pain you give to the management that they have to do something now. Either replace the hardware or go on cloud. Okay. So to move to cloud application, you can ask Aryu. He's working on cloud. So you can get some free advice on how to move applications on cloud. But for those who would like to have their own hardware, please cry. So find fault in the karma and the karma guna. In eating, in seeing, in hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, in thinking. Okay, they are Mara domain. When I say Mara domain means that hardware will be killed. Nothing can be salvaged. It's actually an old car, 15-year-old car, and it's actually a pain having that car. So I'm waiting for an opportunity to dump it. So what do? I take the car to the office, and then my boss says, "How can you keep this car?" I say, "Hey guy, you know what? You're not increasing my salary. I can't buy a new car with what you pay me. It's horrible. You better change the car." I say, "Yeah, increase my pay. Check. I'll do it." And he increases the pay. I found a fault by using the same old thing. So it gets boring. So basically, you have to drive basic senses to complete boredom where you feel saturated. Like an example is you keep on playing the same game forever and you get bugged up. You're eating the same food, get bugged up. You listen to the same music, you get bugged up. You smell the same thing, get bugged up. You taste the same thing, touch the same thing, smell the same thing, see the same thing. You feel it's enough. So you better find a fault. And when you find a fault, you come into the Aninjupaga rebirth in the Rupa realm. Come into the first Rupa Jhana. because that is vitakka vichar. You found a fault, a good fault. But three things you need to notice. One, shouldn't get disturbed. When I see fault, I sometimes can go nasty, blaming everyone. Should be doing that. Finding fault means finding the adinava, danger. So, what's the danger of sensuality is that you will lose it. That's all. There's nothing else is happening. Meaning you'll be losing this hardware device. So, let's not get thoroughly confused on finding the fault. It's just you find a fault with the hardware, but not cursing anyone. That's the first thing. That means you're not going to bring in vyapada. Second, you're not going to create violence on yourself or others. Any kind of verbal, any kind of bodily, any kind of mental is not allowed. No violence. So, abhyapada sankappo, avihimsa sankappo. And third important thing, nekkhamma sankappo. You should be ready to give up. Okay? In the mind, not that physically you're going to give up anything. In the mind. If our sankappa is not okay, samadhiti will not happen. Okay, and samadhiti will not happen. The remaining things are just domino cards, just false. So the only thing you need to do is to have a proper discrimination, determination, which is samma sankappo, nekkhamma sankappo, abhyapada sankappo, avihimsa sankappo. Please remember this. Don't curse yourself. Don't curse others. Don't pain yourself. Don't pain others. Be ready to give up. And then it happens. Okay. The uninjured unshakability will only happen when these three things come in place. Otherwise, never happen. You might get some peace of mind by doing first jhana and second jhana, maybe some sukha in the third jhana, and that's it. Equanimity is never possible if we have violent reactions to ourselves. So, first is to myself and then to the other. So, then if I'm having that, I need to do metta, not on others, on me. Aham mavero homi, abhyapajo homi, anigo homi, sukhi attanam pariharami, which means let me not harbor enmity, let me be free from aversion, and let me not have raga, dvesha, moha. Anigha is that. Nigha means raga, dvesha, moha, which we already covered it in the chitta pagga. I don't have to go back to that. Pathama kama bhu sutta. So this is important. It's not on others. It's please, it's not nothing to do with others. It's about myself, my hardware. I don't have to curse, but I have to find fault. Not cursing, finding fault. Finding fault on not on others, finding fault on this hardware device. Simple. When I do these three things, that is nekkhamma sankappo, abhyapada sankappo, avihimsa sankappo, some magic starts. That's when the magic starts. Samma sankappa is the most important aspect in this, especially in this, what we are doing now. We should have a proper determination. Let's say you are literally not having any violence on yourself or violent on any other person, be a family member, be a friend, be office colleagues, whatever it is, and you're not having vyapada, aversion for yourself or others, and then you're willing to have a nekkhamma, meaning coming out of sensual. Okay? Then the magic starts. you slowly will be pulled into anicca. That means the kama sanya breaks down. The sensual perception is reduced. Okay. Then what happens? Just like what you get in Goenka tradition about Bhanga, where you see the rupas, will have the same effect on the rupa and the mahabhuta. And then this helps in setting the second aninja state, meaning after death, this person is in dutiya aninja sappaya. And then after doing that, if he puts into the third one, which is anicca, arising and passing away, he comes to the third one. Okay. This third one surpasses all. What it means? It means you don't have to necessarily get into a fourth jhana. You don't have to get into fifth jhana. You don't have to get into the sixth jhana. You'll directly enter into the seventh jhana. And that's a beauty of this particular state. So by finding fault in the kama guna is removed, so kama sanya is gone. And then you're seeing anicca in the kama, so it's completely dissolved, given up. So anicca viparinami anyatha bhavi is equal to saying anicca dukkha anatta. Yep, so you found the fault. So the hardware has a fault. So you found the fault in the hardware. So you are now willing to get it refreshed. So your hardware will get refreshed. Hardware refresh means you'll not get a new set of hardware, but the software will be removed from there. And then I'll give it to Ariu, and Ariu will put it on the cloud, which is an unlimited hardware, no limitation. So when you get into that, it will pull itself into akinchayatana. These three merges in akinchayatana. No self can be found. So you don't have to necessarily get into the first jhana and the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth. You can directly enter into the seventh. Okay. So you'll be reborn in Kinchayatana. Now, if you start looking at anatta totally, then you are in the second akinchayatana. And then you come into the last one, 8 jhana, neva sanya na sanyayatana. Now, I'll give you an example, live example. It becomes easy for you to understand. Let's say my 29th November flight. How I can implement this? Even though I've implemented a different way, I can implement the same thing here in this way. So let me first put what I implement in from 1 to 8 and 8 to 1, and also directly from 7 8 8 7 7 8 8 7 to this. Okay. So I've already told you this, but it's good to set the ball rolling, get into the airport, get into the flight, eat something, first jhana. breath. So watch the breath for some time, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever it is. Just be on the breath. And that brings in piti, which is joy. Cut the breath, watch the joy. Be on the joy for some time. So let's say 1 hour down the flight, another 2 hours gone in joy. And that automatically takes you to the sukha. So there's no body feeling. Doesn't matter whether economy flight or a business flight, it's the same as far as the experience goes. Okay, so then there's no pain, body pain, mental pain at all. Sukha. Then magic happens here when the plane is gone. The experience of plane, the seat, and everything is gone. You enter into the upekha state of mind, it's for jhana. You're literally seeing everyone, but yet not seeing anyone. Yep, so this is for jhana. And then when you're there, it turns spacious. The body spacious, and so everything. Like what we did in the morning. Try doing it in the morning. So infinite space creates infinite consciousness. That means you're now conscious without the senses getting locked. My eyes, my ear, my nose, my tongue, my body, my mind. Instead of that, it's just spacious experience or spatial rather. So that's why that awareness is infinite consciousness. It's infinite because there is no blocking. There's nothing called, this is my body. It's just a body. And then, seventh one, what he's talking here. And then the eighth one. So by the time it is 5 hours of flight, 4, 5 hours of flight, basically it's shut down. So I would say once they announce Sydney International Airport, wake me up. That comes back. Or there's a urination to be done and then you come back, but not really come back and just finish that act and come back into seat and off. So this is the normal one. Yep, normal 1 to 8. And if you want to do the 8 to 1, it's pretty simple. Start putting nimitta. It just drops from 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Meaning even that vitaka vichara of breath is also gone. So back to the normal mundane kind of existence. They can make that. So the drop down is easy, then the takeoff is tough. So you can do it, then come out of the flight and the remaining thing is same. No uninjavi. Now come to the this way of doing. First things first. Cut out the body. So instead of vitaka vichara of the breath, little bit of breath watching just to calm the mind, pacify the mind, which is tranquilizing or whatever you want to use that word. And then once the mind is calm enough, it means I'm in the flight, the air hostess coming, going, and some food and something, and you're ready. Don't sit on the breath for a long time. Basically, I keep watching the breath when the air hostess come and just serve the food and etc. I don't waste my time in watching the breath. So from the beginning of sitting, I be on the breath. So let's say 1 hour on the flight, giving food and sufficient quantity so that that petrol can last till I get down in Sydney, because I shouldn't be refueling at all for this. So I found a fault. Refueling is a fault. I shouldn't refuel. What I do, I eat once and I just watch this body from head to toe like a frame and then start cutting off each one of these body parts. Like I'll make it into a skeleton and remove the skull, remove from here to the end of the spine, and then the torso, everything is just collapses. But that brings to the sukha. So I don't have to do the 1, 2, 3. Each from 1 goes to 3, then to the 4, because the bones and everything is dismantled. Just like you just remove a cot, let's say, per se, you open up and then the cot is gone. So no longer you can call that as a cot, and it's done. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then get into the seventh jhana directly from here, because the first one is done. The first three are on the karma, which I've already done. And the other two remains. That is getting into the akinchayatana and getting into nevasanya nasanyayatana. So this will save me time, a considerable amount of time, instead of having a 5 hours out of a 12-hour flight, which I'm going to have. So I don't have to spend 5 hours on this exercise. It just hardly take a couple of hours, and then the remaining 10 hours, or rather 3 hours, let's say 9 hours. I can stay 9 hours in nevasanya nasanyayatana. So what would be the difference between the previous Australian visit and this Australian visit would be, even though I'm doing 1 to 8, 8 to 1, this will be even more refreshing. Number one, Nirodha Samapatti can be done without having to put effort, because it'll automatically turn into that. That means on the flight, it literally removes the perception and feeling. Then this is what I had done previously, but this one will be more profound. Meaning it will cut space and time. So no space, no time means no motion. So the hardware doesn't have to get burnt up. So when I land in Sydney and take the next flight, I can continue doing it. And then Shaniel at the airport can see a difference. That's it. Or Bobby is joining and he can then say, oh, Bobby was not there when he picked me up. Whatever it is. Let's say whoever saw me on that day were to be there. Then they can see a change between what they had seen me when I landed last time and what I am right now. But this one will stop time and space from the beginning itself. Any questions on this? All good? Okay, nice. So the one problem with this especially is it's nibbana. It's there, but the parinibbana might happen in the same realm. That is nevasana nasanyayatana, because there is a very subtle clinging. So the Arya Vimokho has to happen means that it has to go beyond this. So that we will have to see later. But now this is a good thing to do in six steps. 6 nice, good looking steps. Yes, sir. Okay. So this is how I wanted to do today is that is when we are going to meet up in the next few minutes for the meditation session, we're going to try this. And then I have another 1 hour we will talk about it, and then we are done for today, basically. So we'll attempt to do this 8 jhana through 7. No in between. If you get it, it's fine. If you don't get it, don't get worked up. Just as a try. We'll see what happens. So if you have any questions, do let me know. I can help you before we go there.
What we did in the morning, what is the difference?
Morning we did the same one. We will be continue doing it. So you break open this body and then make it into a skeleton and remove the skeleton, and then you are ready to take the thing. Then you have already done the defect finding of the hardware, which is this body. So you can now directly attempt the seventh jhana, akinchayatana. And it goes in 3 steps, which I just now told you. And then the conclusion of that, you're in akinchayatana.
So that stage, whatever we goes there after the drop of bones or the things, it's a akincha
Yeah.
stage approximately.
Yeah. Just like as an example, in your case, Ashwin, you are able to get into the bhanga. Every few minutes, now you're getting it. So what you need to do is drop the bhanga. Once you get the bhanga, just drop it and wait for some time. It automatically brings you to a void state. Okay. That voidness is the first level of akinchayatana.
It's a morning while doing it. It was like a break dropped, and then suddenly it's wide with a light.
Yes, correct. Now, when you get light, just beyond that light, it will pull itself to this void first level, void second level, void third level, where no self exists. Void of self. That means the senses are there, but there is no enjoyer or sufferer, and the objects are not there. So, subject object is removed. The subject is there, the 6 senses, but the object is not there because there's no experiencer. So, there's nothing to experience.
After maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes, it's come out. Again, it comes to fourth.
Yes, so you shouldn't allow it to drop off to the fourth level jhana.
Yeah, how to do it? That is I want
And that's the reason I told you remove the skull and all that.
No, after going, it's coming back to fourth.
Yes, because there is some obstacle.
Then again, I have to do same thing. What you
You
said.
have to again go back to the same thing and do the same thing.
So repeat this again and again. Then
Yes,
it's going, but it goes quickly. It goes quickly.
Yes, Ashwin, is because of the hindrance. Maybe you have Kamachanda or Vyapada or Thinamida or Udacha or Kukucha or Visikicha, whatever is there, and that brings it down to the again back to the same level. So the first, when it happens now, you need to look at how you can cut out through looking at Kama and Kama Sanya as Mara. Okay? And then it'll drop off. Then you're again gone to the fourth. It actually comes to the first one. Then you're pushing it and it goes to the fourth. When you go to the fourth, you know you're in the fourth. And when you're in the fourth, you get light. And when you get light, don't get sucked by the light. Just watch the light. It'll get into the voidness. And then when you get in the voidness, you will see 3 levels of voidness. The first level of voidness is just that you don't know where it is, what you have arrived to. That's a void, basically. In the void. Be in the void. Don't get disturbed by the void. That takes you to the second level of voidness, where the self is dissolving and the objects are gone. A third level void is that there's no self. It's devoid of self. There's no thing called a self. That means you are not there to enjoy or suffer anything of any object because there's no object. Only subject remains. When you do it properly, perfectly, you will move directly into the 8th jhana. where the perception becomes very less. There's nothing to perceive, and it stops. Then, if you push further, meaning you know that there's little bit of perception, what you need to do is you need to see what you're feeling. If you're feeling blissed out, just watch the bliss and the bliss is gone. Doesn't allow a single amount of bliss being there. So that being gone, the sanya is itself removed. That means there's no thing to perceive. The feeling is exhausted. So you are in Nirodha Samapatti. Before attempting Nirodha Samapatti, at the seventh jhana, when you are going into the eighth, ninth, you need to make a determination how you should be woken up. You shouldn't forget. How do you want to come back? You say, yeah, wake me up in a hour's time or something like that, and drop. Goes to the eighth, stays for some time, perception is gone, the feeling is gone. One case. Second case, you observe the feeling, the bliss is gone. Along with that, the perception is itself removed. So there's no perception and feeling. Third case, perception removed, feeling cannot be there. In all these three cases, you can enter into the Nirodha Samapatti. Okay. This is how you can use this sutta to do it. It's a very nice magical sutta. If it fails, then we will do next week. We'll take 122 Chula Shunyata Sutta or 121, whatever that number is, and then we'll practice as per that. In case this fails, this one is very nice, niche, short, to the point, and that's it. The only thing is, like, before I get into this, I should have had a strong determination of nekama, abhyapada, abhihimsa. Because here, any himsa on yourself will show up in the four jhana. You will never get into four jhana, number one. Even if you get, it will be so less, it makes you feel agitated, comes back to the first jhana or even no jhana at all. So before you attempt, make sure you have no ill will on yourself, let alone others. So don't compete with yourself. Do something like this. And don't say that I will do it for sure. You will never be able to do it. It cannot work because you are challenging. Moment you challenge it, vyapada sets in. It doesn't work. You'll get terribly frustrated, and that is vyapada again. Okay? And you would get angry. That's vyapada again. And then you start cursing. It's avihimsa. Sorry, that is vihimsa. You're violent. Why do you curse? Nothing of that you are going to do, or we are going to do. So before you start, ensure your samma sankappa is there. Otherwise, don't even attempt it. Just go the normal route, whatever you're doing, it's fine. But if you want to do this, that's a condition. This is the condition you need to meet for selection. Shouldn't have these three things. Check it out. If you have any one of these things, nekkhamma should be there instead of kama. Vyapada shouldn't be there. It should be abhyapada. Vihimsa shouldn't be there. It should be avihimsa. Most of the time, we are in 2 and 3. We are in Vyapada and we are in Vihimsa. Now, Himsa and no Vyapada, minimum, and remove the Kama. So, the next few moments, 6 minutes from now, when you're going to attempt it, ensure you have it. So, what to do? I'll tell you what to do for that. Number one, for if I have little bit of irritation right now, better to say aham mavero homi, abhyapajo homi, anigo homi, sukhi atanam pariharami, not like a ritual. So we have to observe. Aham mavero homi. I need to see whether I have any enmity on anything at this point in time. Not on others, on myself. What is the one thing which is bothering me? That I have to pacify. It's okay. Let's say I could do whatever was there in the previous session, just leave it. Not worth it. Just drop. Now I drop it. Now it's pacified. Avera is removed. Abhyapacha homi. Irritation, agitation, worries. Worries not at that kukucha worry. Worry as in something not working. It was working, but now it is not working. Agitation, irritation, aversion, called by whatever name, all of that is vyapada. So abhyapada is that you're not going to consider competing with yourself. Of the previous session or the before days, however you were doing it, doesn't matter. And don't compare yourself with others. They do it well, I'm not doing it. They were able to sit for 6 hours, 8 hours, I'm not able to sit, and blah blah, all of that. No, nothing. Nothing at that you're going to take it. It doesn't matter. Somebody might be sitting 24 hours. It's fine. It doesn't make any difference to you whether somebody sits for 24 hours or somebody sits for only 20 minutes. It shouldn't bother you. Okay. And finally, Kamachanda. See the fault. What's the fault? It cannot please you. That's the only fault. You cannot get it fulfilled. Like I and Bobby trying to eat Toblerone. Even before I went there, he had lost touch in Toblerone. Otherwise, it would have been better eating Toblerone and seeing what happens. But anyway, so whatever we have, so we have to see and then drop it, not worth it, because it's non-satisfying. Like Toblerone is non-satisfying. You eat one and you feel like eating another because it's non-satisfying. It keep on. I need to keep on eating. Or add you boba tea for you as an example. As many boba tea you drink, it's not going to do anything to you. Okay, except that you'll go to that mall all the time and then buy a boba tea, or somewhere you'll buy a boba tea, or Vrinda is making boba tea, maybe you might drink another 2 cups of boba tea. Doesn't do anything to you. So to find a fault. Okay. So on Kamachanda, you have to find fault. On Vyapada, shouldn't compete with yourself or with others. Okay. And Vihimsa, don't curse. Don't curse yourself or others. You will have a very bad state of mind. No cursing, no swearing, nothing. If you do this before the start of our program, okay, it will be good. Then you will be able to cut this body from head to toe. Just remove the skull, From here to the end of your spine, just remove the spine. This whole thing is held by that, just drops like a cloth falling down. Then, the very moment you're in space, this is a fifth jhana. Okay. Now you know what next to be done. Like what I just now said on the uninjured, unshaking. I can slowly develop it.